exaggerated. So don't do it.
Well, here we are again. So, just like the title says, see, I believe, from the way that this body changes colors, as you get down into some of the differences here, you see it changing kind of purple and blue and stuff like that. Obviously, it's a chameleon. So, drifting. What is it? Why do we need it? What do we want to do when we're doing it? And what do we want our vehicles to be set up like to be able to do it most effectively? This is drift perfection. You notice it's got a rim broken, because that's what happens when you smash into walls and stuff. But what you're trying to do, and what is best for something to slide sideways even while the wheels are fully turned, is to lock both ends together. Uh-oh, look out. Dropping the bodywork. You see how all of the tires are turning? Even if I try and hold one of them, they're locked together. Why? Took the differentials apart, glued them together with JB Weld. They call that a Lincoln locker in the real world, because you'd normally use a Lincoln welder and zip all the gears inside together, and bing, bang, boom, you've got something going on. Another key aspect of your drift machine is that it's usually built on an old racing car. This is a HPI RX-1, I believe. Very ancient. Got it for 60 bucks on eBay. Threw a little carbon fiber tray on it. I got more probably in the bodywork and the wheels and tires than I do really in the whole thing. 27-turn Birdman motor. Big steep gearing, because you kind of want them slow. You don't necessarily need them fast. Lots of camber, lots of rake. You can see how this thing is sitting pointed in, because it settles the car down and makes it want to push itself around in a circle. But when you lock the tires, they both want to turn, so it stabilizes and slows down the speed that the car reacts. And that's what the slick tires do as well. They give you a chance to slide without the car grabbing traction and sliding. Your body probably should be beat up. Should have been like sticker bombed several times. Cracked, dented. It's hit the guardrail. It shattered some stuff. Drift cars are a messy business, but it's actually quite fun. Little Yokomo wing. Got it in a 2-pack, where I was going to use the other wing for actual aero package on a fast car, and then this one just happened to be something that I could fit. But you can see from the posts, we're kind of amateurish about this. We missed. This is like a bolt-on wing. What happened? We don't know. But as we get into this new drift machine, which has proven itself to be freaking exceptional, except everything about it is carbon fiber and aluminum and tasty and all vintage in the electronics and the gear. I've refitted the way the shocks mount, so that they're actually on ball studs on the bottom here, and they've got good mounts and solid everything. The electrics are great. Steering works great. You can see it's chewing the inside of the tire, so it really starts to get that nice slant to it. And it being in a Lamborghini right next to an Alfa is just really nice. Don't see a lot of Euro drift cars. But one thing we do have, as you see, this here is not something that's very good. It works. it actually drifts quite nicely, but it's a very finesse drift and you can lose it quite easily. It's a little bit oversensitive for our tastes. So what we're going to do, how are we going to solve this? I'm reticent to take apart such a ball differential on this particular one of these before, and believe me, I have looked around. This is an oddball. I'm thinking it's a Kyosho or something, but I don't really know. It had Kyosho tires on it, and usually the tires would kind of indicate where it came from, but in that world, it's that's a slippery slope. But one thing I can guarantee, oh look, he cocks his little rear tires up when you compress the front suspension, like a doggy pissing on a hydrant. But I don't want to really screw this thing up. Like a Lincoln Locker setup on that other one is one thing because you really can't do anything else. And even though you really can't do anything else on this one, it's got functional parts that if you really up the gearing on this motor, you could make this thing a lightning quick race car. And it's fully functional with aluminum bits everywhere. It's a hard sell for me just to throw it full send on the old glue and JB Weld solution. And this one's not nearly as beat to death as the other one. So I'm trying to rationalize a repair that doesn't include really tearing this thing to pieces, but also locks this front end together. So on that note, what we will have to do is pop these loose, get your tie rods off of here. Probably should have undone the other one. It's definitely got universal joints on it. Let's see if we got what we can do with the wheel off of it. We got to get this thing, got to get the axle shaft out of here, because usually on the ball differentials, what they'll have is like a, oh hell, I've got one sitting over here. I got a match pair sitting over here. What they're going to have is a screw set, something like that. So it goes all the way through the ball differential, and the little T-plates, the little blue parts, hold in a lot, and then the screw comes in and sucks the whole thing together and tightens it up. And if you just ratchet that thing down, usually, oh goody, this one doesn't want to play nice. Okay. Oh wait. Oh, now it's hooked into the drive cups. Oh, awesome. Okay. But yeah, if you suck the ball differential down really tight, you're usually going to have the reaction of the axles locking together. That also creates, if you're on a grippy surface, like the immediate condition of it wearing out quicker and probably breaking other parts in the drivetrain. But since all four wheels are designed to slip and never catch, and never really do, even though there's a little bit of like, it's very slick, and it doesn't really ever do anything like that. Damn it, Jim. We've got the issue of a full-blown racing car here, kids. What do we got here? Ooh. We're definitely going to have to match some bearings up on this thing. That usually will take a caliper, so you can measure the internal and outer diameters. So where the axle rides inside, how big that is, and then on the outside of the case. And then once you got that down, you... Woo! Thank goodness. You gotta be quick. All right, so grub screw that tried to fall on the floor and screw me. There we go. Didn't necessarily need to take it out of the knuckle, although these bearings are pretty unhappy. Let's put it that way. So at some point, a service will have to be done. Now, awesome. I took it apart on the T-bar side of it, but I can see the T-bar side of it, which means it is exactly the same as one of those, which is kind of cool because if I pop this thing, I might actually have the parts already in aluminum and steel to bolt it back together to where it wouldn't totally suck. Crappy part is got to disassemble this side too, which is kind of fine, I guess. I don't really care. All right, you come off of there, you come out of there. So you take off your little wheel adapter. It's got a T-bar, a little cross pin through it. Grabbing the pliers. Grab, rotate, rotate. Let's take it off on the outside this time. Flip this up. The bearings are trying to pop out. You'll have a little shim on the outside. Be careful. Watch out. Look out. Duck. Duck and cover. You know what I mean. All right. Suspension accrochette. Knuckle assemblage, and then set it back down, and you're looking for, like, to turn it. There we go. It kind of pops out, whole knuckle assembly with the axle shaft. Pops out of the joint. And look here, we got a flathead screw that we can turn, hopefully, and get to locking down a lot more. You want to grab your Fisher Controls pocket screwdriver. What? You don't have one? The hell? Well, you're going to have to find a pocket screwdriver of some kind because you can't borrow mine. Lock the one side through, pin it down, find your flat-headedness. Oh. All right. Oh, damn it. It just sits there and spins real easy. It's a ball differential, and look you. Shitty. Okay, well. Oh, man. Okay. Well, it's kind of tightening down. You don't want to just sit in there and crank on it because at some point that screw's going to say, "To hell with you. I'm tight enough." All right, so I've tightened it down as far as I think that I can get away with. It's going to get real pissy with me at some point, and that's not a good thing. So which side did we take this off of? What corner did this come from? Come on, chat, help me out. Aren't I supposed to have like a chat following or something to do this? God, these are good axles too. This shit strangely reminds me of Tamiya stuff, and I don't know why, but it might be a Tamiya. It might be just some ancient old road doggy. Nope. Not it. It might be just one of those that you just don't recognize, just an ancient model that I'm not sure of. But I get the feeling like it's either a Tamiya or a Kyosho, but it doesn't really matter. I mean, the thing's it's a brilliant design. It's got pins that are made to have E-clips on it that would normally natively have E-clips because they got the grooves cut in them. Yet they fit perfectly there. I wonder. All right. Okay. Drift cars tend to have a relative amount of, shall we say, vibration. And considering the bearings on this vehicle are a little bit, grub screw, we love you. Just a touch, like you barely touch it, and it's enough. I mean, literally just a hair's breadth of this sealant is enough. And when you got a sealant on there, just snug it down. When it locks it down, it's not going anywhere because the sealant's holding everything, and you're not going to break that bond unless you got a tool. So do it right. Hey, you're dropping stuff. I don't want to look messy. There's nobody watching. All right. Fuck it. Put it down on the ground. Flip it over on its body mounts. This one's got strong body mounts. Oh, only a touch. Just a touch is enough. Kind of hold here. Make sure you got it pretty well centered. Grub screw the shit out of it. There you go, you fucking wanker. Australian people are hilarious when they cuss. That's a good one. Ooh, and another. Got it. And we're back in place. Boy, don't you wish normal car front ends had come together and just fucking work like that, huh? Pop that shit together. I guess if you know what you're doing, it kind of works like that. Mostly. There's that. Oh, we got a shock out. I'm going to shock off its ball. Make sure you get the right tire because these are directional treads. You don't want to be looking all fucking retardicon with your goddamn tread pattern backwards. Be a fucking waterhead. Oh, yeah. Let's see how well we do with this. Something's not happening right. Happening right. Happening right. Why? Why, little aluminum rims? Why? You know, if you push too hard on something and you actually flex one of these a ridge into something, you're gonna suffer. So don't play games. If something doesn't fit quite right, don't try and suck it down. This aluminum doesn't play fucking games with you. There's something not quite right. It ain't coming down onto the hub all the way. Ah! Come on, you fucking pig. Oh, look at that. What is it? Okay, alright. Let's. A little block does not like to be. Kind of like leaving those kind of, you know, not tight, but tighten it up. Otherwise, it don't work. There it is. All right. Every time you take something apart and put it together, you had better be able to answer to the parts that you remove and then install. Oh. It does still spin, but there's some more tension on that thing, you can tell. And hopefully we've created enough tension on the differential that it does not come apart, but it does respond with more lockup, like a bigger turning circle due to more wheel spin at both front corners. All right, look, gravity, you're gonna have to fucking kick in at some point, you son of a bitch. You work for every other fucking dickhead. God, I hate gravity sometimes. Motherfucker won't pick off and carry anything that you want it to fucking carry down. Like, here, set the bearing in place so I can easily get the shim with it. Nope. Fuck that bearing. Make it go sideways 14 different times so you and your fucking fingernails can cling for dear life to this fucking axle shaft. Finger fucking a shim down into place for 10 minutes. Thank you. Dear God, if it's a part you actually want to hold on to, gravity will snatch that motherfucker and send it to a black hole in about 4 seconds. Gravity. Bit of a dick. Bit of a dick, really. Alright. 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 Love it. Now, what we need is battery. Every single thing you see here can be found on eBay. Well, I don't know about one of these cars. You might not be that special or that good at shopping on eBay. But for me, this stuff is easy. All right, so we can what? Go around in a circle. Yeah, why not? Bing, bang, and boom. I can laugh my ass off if this was actually a Tamiya. And I didn't know anything about it because I can't really figure out from the look of it or any part names or anything because there's nothing. Literally nothing. Alright, so we have a battery. That is not it. Sierra Cosworth, no. Nissan Skyline, no. Go Porsche, no. Hilux, no. Lamborghini. What you can't see is that I was just sorting through like more than a few controllers. More than a few. All right, so what we want to see is this thing. Uh-oh. Almost looks like we got a bent axle, doesn't it? Right front corner. Right front corner, my man. But what I do see also is the fact that we are not just rubbing this, which is very bad. We're going to pin you back over there. But, ooh, yeah, the steering's kind of hitting the battery wiring. Not a lot we can do, man. This is it's either run the battery wiring into the steering just a touch or run it into the gearing. We could always feed it into the freaking gearing in the goddamn drive shaft. Well, it still kind of is into the drive shaft a little bit. But you see that? It's overcoming the resistance. It's not unlocking. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. Let's see if this actually works. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to refocus the camera out here where we can go. Ooh. Yes. Oh, I like that. Well, tell you what we can do. Why don't we put the heater away, because it's probably time for heaters to be put away. With a little bit less space than I need. Oh, there went some shit. Alright. I got a little bit more space. Okay. That's kind of an important Yep. Okay. So now I don't know if you saw that or not. This thing's doing exactly what it's supposed to do. Oh my God, this thing is good. Okay. All right. Well, I can tell you right now, folks, that as a modification is exactly what that car needed. Because the finesse of what happens is when you send it into a drift, it wants to spin around like you saw it doing just immediate 360s, right? Because it's four-wheel drive and it'll pull itself around in a circle like Ken Block's car, which is awesome because you can do that at any time you want. But what you're looking for is when you come out of that drift, when you add opposite lock. So if it's spinning around like this and then you turn the wheels like that, it starts to want to come out of, well, actually, you turn it like that. So if it's spinning like that, the back end's going that way. You turn to get a little bit opposite lock in it, and it would start to swing a wider circle around in a drift. When it starts to do that, what you'll notice is that when you leave the steering alone on an open differential car, just let the opposite lock go, steering wheel back to normal. When it had an open differential, it would try to either snap into oversteer or would try to just end up going straight, which eventually the drift car will do too. But what this thing is now trying to do is it's trying to pull itself around in a circle because it has both this one pushing and that one trying to turn at the same time. So it's trying to go around in a circle, but this one and this whole side of the car is pushing it in an outboard circle. So it just ends up sliding around in a general circle. So if you had like a hockey rink or whatever, gymnasium floor, wherever, this thing will just sit there and do a nice wide arc without you ever hardly having to touch the steering. And the only thing you have to do is while you're going, you'll make snap corrections. Flip, 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 flip. And you'll be able to drift 30 and 40-foot wide circles, but immediately hit it hard and kick it into a tighter circle and steer wherever you want. And then, of course, you can see from the patches on the tires where exactly it's actually rubbing, which means we've got just enough camber on there because this is going to turn into a big, sexy slope right here where you're going to see just a touch of outside tread pattern and then nothing. It'll be just perfectly slick. But as far as it being able to lock the tires, see how it just keeps trying to go one way? You know what I'm saying? It'll go and just... You can even do it at slow speed. And it wants to, it's pulling against itself so much it can't really do a lot quickly. Where one of them with four-wheel drive and an open diff or two open diffs can actually respond very quickly. It reacts and turns, and the balance of the car gets shifted and it starts whipping around and spinning too many circles. So drifting a regular one, very touchy. It's a finesse game. It can be difficult. But getting one of these things to sit there and drift in a circle, especially the way this is set up now, because the back was always a spool. And then this front was the open diff. So now that we got that tight, that is so awesome. We're going to be taking these on our trip with us. So, yes, thank you very much. That is, shit, that's going to be a wrap. We're going to put a wrap on the or something, I think. Yeah. So I'm going to cut this off here. I thought maybe it was going to be a little bit longer than this. But here, I'll show you one more thing. Bam. You like them apples. I was reticent to do a driver because this is Michael Schumacher's car, and I just kind of wanted the car. Plus, I'm not that good at doing decals and graphics, as you can probably see. But this thing is righteous. And I've got a little assembly kit with some end bell screws coming because that'll lock it down a little bit. But this thing, you see, very, very smooth differential. As a matter of fact, differential's so smooth, you can move this gear there's a little lash in there. So this one can move all over the place, but the back end, even though it's unlockable, it's got a solid carbon fiber shaft. And then it's two-wheel drive. So this car drives with an amount of finesse that is absolutely unbelievable. If you really make any kind of radical movements with a car like this, it's going to lose grip and spin around because it's got traction back here, and it'll shift traction to where it needs it based on the differential being able to lock and unlock. But these only have grip to turn. So once you lose grip to turn or overdo it on grip for power, like if you overdo the lateral grip because you're powering out too hard on the rears, it'll just come around right immediately in a circle on you. So as a matter of fact, I can put this on real quick and show you how quickly. Now this one I might have to run to the door and stop it because it doesn't really have good brakes. And it definitely does not have reverse. Ah. I know you can see that. The way that thing turned, and then the front didn't actually try and spin it around in that extra bit of circle. See? How it wanted to pull, it immediately started to turn and drive out of the turn. And then when you finish powering out, well, the rear differential decides which one's got more grip, and it tries to apply all the engine's power, and you're done. It just starts steering itself out. But when you're at high speed, you don't have the luxury of extra tires pulling you back into place with a car like this. So, and you can see some of the angles is how back over here. Now the tires are wearing on there. But this thing is absolutely precision driving because you don't want to lose too much control. And one of these drift cars is 100%. You're throwing it into stuff and then leaving the steering basically alone while you kind of allow the car to just pull itself around in a big lazy circle. Or you get really aggressive with the steering and start yanking it around in shorter circles and curves and such like that. So as we sit now, I think we've got something that's absolutely perfect. Flawless victory. As far as the drift car goes, the only thing that I could do better is figure out how to get the steering to not attack the wiring, but it's not like rubbing it anything. It's just kind of moving it over. It just pushes it out, over this way a little bit while it's doing its thing. So batteries are a wearing part. Eventually, this is going to go bad, and I'll bet this goes bad before the wiring gets worn out, and it's not on the motor side of the wiring. So there you go. Probably got a couple years worth of use out of this battery before it actually burns up, and I'll bet you in that time we don't wear through a piece of wiring like that. And this part is like carbon graphite, so it's not going to be, it's not like shorting it out or something like that, so it won't ground it out. So, yeah, I'd say Operation Driftalicious is well on its way to victory. There we go. Get the stuff out from underneath of it. Refocus my little camera here. Back onto the bench. There we go. So there you have it. What does this say? Drift Tengoku. All right. We'll leave you with that message. And as always, be legendary. I guess that's a thing on the internet. You need to call everybody a legend. They can't just be like a superstar, rock star. Rock star is too old. You don't want to be a rock star. Those are dirty now. And you want to be a legend. So be legendary. Have a great weekend.